Hi everyone, Ann Butler here. I'm just going to wait a few minutes until some people find this live since I'm a half hour late. I was having technical difficulties with Facebook not allowing me to go in the normal way I do when I do a live on Bella's page. So, hi Linda, hi Lisa. Okay, good, people are here. Hi Rosario. I am sorry for being late. I was having some issues with Facebook not wanting to let me go live, at least not from the Bella page. I was able to get on from my own page, which made no sense. So I'm starting all over. Yes, Denise, I made it. Hi, Lisa. I am so sorry that I'm late, ladies. Sometimes doing lives and making things work, we have technical difficulties, and Facebook just wasn't letting me go on the way I normally do from my phone. So I'm glad I'm on and you guys are finding me. So today, Sunny Studio is our sponsor, and I am creating an embossed card. I love embossing folders and I don't use them nearly enough. The last month or so, I've been grabbing my embossing folders and playing with them quite a bit. And hi, Denise. So I've been grabbing my embossing folders out and playing with them. And when I saw these beautiful embossing folders from Sunny Studio, I thought they would be perfect to go with my Unity stamps, my 1-inch stamps. But when I embossed it, it kind of got lost. I'll show you on this one. This is my 1-inch strips with Unity. And you can use these to create beautiful backgrounds. And you can see this quilted hearts embossing on there, but I thought it kind of got lost. So I decided to change directions. And I don't know about you guys, but I have lots of tiny scraps left over from all sorts of projects. And I have, in my studio, I have cabinets with these little tiny drawers. So I save a lot of things. This is all of my paper line with Emerald Creek. But, you know, I have pieces cut. So I save all these little pieces. And I also save little pieces that might work really well in another project. I've gotten so much better. I do throw a lot of things away. But I do save a lot of things. I have a drawer filled with things that I have done and I didn't like the way they turned out, so I just stick them in here to pull out when I want to create something. And here is my 1-inch squares, and I did use this quilted heart embossing folder, but because I had used embossing powder and gave it the raised effect, it didn't take, I mean, it's beautiful on the backside. So when I saw the backside, that's when I knew, okay, I really need to go more with a solid color or a white. So that's what I did for today's project. And this embossing folder, Quilted Hearts, is so beautiful. And what's great about their embossing folders is that they are big. They are not 4 inches wide. I do believe they are 6 inches wide. Yeah, so they're 6 by 6. So that is a great size for an embossing folder. And then I also used their die cut Hello. So the first card I created this one, and I used some of Gina K's premium ink. And then I thought, well, I wonder what it would look like if I used some of my heat set watercolors. I love this. I love how it turned out. I love that you can see the design in here. But I wanted to try it using my watercolors. So that's what I did. And this one isn't glued down yet. But I love how that turned out. And this is my glacé from Emerald Creek. They are heat set watercolors. And they have a shimmer to them. So you get that, you know, if I put this in the right way, you can see that shimmer and shine on there. And that's more what I was going for. And this is all on one piece. So I'm going to show you how I created this. It's really easy. I did several of them. At first I did it with regular cardstock. So that's with regular cardstock. And then I thought, no, I think I want a watercolor paper. And so that's what I went for. And I have different kinds of watercolor paper. Like this is a cold press heavyweight watercolor paper. And this is a much thinner watercolor paper. So you can do it any way you want. You don't have to do it on watercolor paper. This is all kind of smudged. You can do it on regular 110-pound cardstock. So, but I think my favorite was this heavy 140-pound cold press cardstock or watercolor paper because it kind of stands on its own. And you can see that beautiful shine of those watercolors. So I want to remind everybody, if you like, share, and comment this video, you will be entered for the giveaway this week from Sunny Studios, which will be an awesome prize pack. So make sure you do that and go over and like Sunny Studios Facebook page. It is Sunny Studio Stamps, I believe. Lisa will put the link in here for you. But so this is what we're going to create today. And what I did was, I've showed you guys this before. I've used some Masking Magic from Gina K and Thermoweb. And I have several here that I've used several times. You can reuse these. I want to show you what happens if you reuse them maybe too much with watercolors, because with watercolors you are, I'm going to put a craft sheet down here. With watercolors you are moving this around a bit more than you would if you were just using ink. And you can rip it if you use it too many times. Like you can use it the first time with great results. But if you're reusing it, like you can tell here, I've done it many different times. And it might start to rip. And that's what happened like with this one. Those little rips came in there. But I love how that turned out. I did it originally. This is with just my, I'm trying to read the color, the sapphire blue. This is a sapphire blue glacé, and it was too bright for the look I was going for. So I toned it down by putting black on top of it. I'm going to show you how to do that. And these watercolors are heat set. So once you heat set it, those colors won't move. But for this particular project today, I wanted them to move. And I have a piece of my watercolor paper here with the Masking Magic already on it. What I did was I die cut it into the size I wanted it and had a heart in the center. I took the heart out. So you can use the heart additionally, and I will show you here. I'll show you right here. This is where I took and had the heart on here, and I used one of my background stamps to stamp the entire thing. That way you had the white in the center, and I did use that beautiful quilted embossing folder on here. And that is beautiful because you got that beautiful texture right there. This one is like what I'm doing today, where I put the masking magic down and then I stamped my 1-inch stamps in here. And then I embossed the entire thing. So you can see that beautiful embossing from that folder really well on the white. You don't see it as well on the printed part, which is why I wanted more of the white showing. So here I have the 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, and I cut it for an A2 card. A lot of times I cut it exactly the size, you know, if I'm going to layer it, I will cut it down so I can layer, but I'm not going to layer this card. So I put this in place where I want it, and then the Glacé heat set watercolors. Now remember, if you put a layer on and heat set it, it won't move. But for this purpose, I wanted this blue toned down just a little bit, so I'm not heat setting in between. And what I'm doing is I am wetting a dauber here. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of that out. And I'm going to go right into the pot to grab that color. And then I'm going to squeeze even a little bit more of it out because I don't want this masking magic to rip or anything. And I'm going to come off the side and then come in with this color. I'm being really careful at the tip so I don't lift that up. And then I can pick up more of my color. And this would be pretty just on its own in this color, but I really wanted it darker, which is why I applied the onyx black on top. And you can, to show you how long this stuff lasts, you can re-wet your dauber. And because I have all this extra here, I can pick up some of that color and keep adding it in until I'm happy with the color. And I don't want it too wet. I got a little hair there. Try and get that out of the way. Okay, so I have my blue on, and all by itself, I don't know if you can see that, the shimmer. It's beautiful, but I wanted, like I said, a darker color. So I'm wetting this sponge, and I'm gonna grab some of the black onyx. And you don't need that much. Watercolors last a very long time. I didn't get a lot on there. And I don't want it to overpower this sapphire. I just want to change that color up just a little bit. So I put some of the black onyx on, and then I'm coming back in with my sapphire. And you just kind of work it until you're happy with it. And I'm trying to be very careful not to get the masking magic too wet. Now, I kind of like that. and you just simply peel this off. This can be reused. I would let it dry because it's a little bit wet, but you can totally reuse that. But that gives you another color and another dimension. So I thought I would try it with the red also. I have ruby red, which I haven't tried yet, but I thought this is on the 100-pound watercolor paper. So I already have the masking magic on here. And I just thought I would like to see what it looks like in the ruby red. So I'm adding water to my dauber, and I'm going to pick up some of this ruby red. And, you know, like I said, you don't use a lot of the watercolor, and a little goes a long way. So I'm coming off a little bit before I put it on there. And I do think I need just a little bit more water. And it's always good to go off and then come on and apply your color. That way you won't get like a big glob you didn't intend to. This is a very subtle, and I think I want it just a little bit darker, so I'm going to add more of the ruby red. Now, like I said, these are heat set watercolors. So if you heat set this right now, this would stay, and you could go over it with another color and they would not blend together. So now I'm going to take some of the black onyx. I'm going to use the same dauber I had, even though it has, well, no, I think I'll use a new one because that does have a little bit of the blue in there. And just push most of that water out. I'm not sure what this is going to turn out like. I don't know if it's going to take over as much as little as the blue did. But it just gives the ruby another color. Now, I don't want to add too much of the black, but I do like the deeper, darker color of it. And it looks like when you're using this masking magic, it looks like you're making just a mess because you've got watercolor everywhere, or ink, whatever you're using, all over the place. But I kind of like that. I think I want a little tiny bit more red on there. But that onyx gives it a richness too. Like I said, I like the 140-pound watercolor paper better. This is thinner. But let's see what this looks like. So again, with the masking magic, you can reuse this. Oops, it bled just a little bit. So, yeah, it didn't, not that it didn't work as well, but it did bleed. I came through there a couple too many times. I'm not as happy with that one, but this is beautiful. So once you have this done, I'm going to clean these, move these out of the way, and move my daubers and clean off my mat. So once you have this done, you would take and use your die cutting machine whatever die cutting, you know, not an electronic die cutting machine, but you would take and put this inside the folder and use the appropriate cutting plates and then emboss this. And what you get is this beautiful finished card, and it's all one piece. The watercolors, they dry pretty quickly. You can heat set them once you're happy with the color. So once you're happy with the color it is, that's when you could heat set it. I did not heat set these. And it's funny how different each one of these look depending upon how much black you use. This one has a lot more black than this one. So you just have to play around with it a little bit. And then this one is way lighter, but it is not as light as, let me find the one that has just the original blue on it. So this is the color of the blue sapphire without any black. So you can tell, you can get a lot more with your products if you mix them together and blend them. So it does make a difference. But I think these two are probably my favorite. And then this would go on a card base, which is, this is 8.5 by 11 paper, and I bring it to a copy place and I'll have them cut an entire stack for me at 4 1/4. So I have top folding cards, and then I'll have another stack cut in half the other way. So I have side opening cards. So this is 4 1/4 by 11 for a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch A2 card. So I'm going to take this and just some tape. And set that down. So there you have it. And then for this great, I love dies that do words. So this die, I took and I cut out lots of hellos. And what I did was, like on the black, I wasn't sure if I wanted white or black on here. But what I did was I glued 2 pieces. You can tell better on the red. So on the red, I glued 2 pieces of cardstock together with a tape runner, and I cut out the hello. So it's double thick, and then I took those and put them on top of each other. So this card, this hello is 4 layers of cardstock, and it just adds that perfect dimension to go with the embossing. So you can tell kind of, if I turn it this way, how thick that is, and it kind of looks like a die cut from chipboard or something, but it adds that great dimension to this card. And on this one, these are already too thick. This one is actually the 140-pound watercolor paper, which on its own might just work perfectly. But I didn't know if I wanted maybe black on here. Or, you know, you could put it down here. If you're using the watercolor paper, you definitely want it up here. But play around with your cards and see the different things you can do. But really, if you have these super fine letters that make words that you die cut, take and glue them together to create a really nice a really nice thick word. This one is too thick, and I'm going to use my finger here with the glue and just kind of go in here. And normally I would use a toothpick, but I don't have one handy. But you don't have to get every single area of it, but you need to get parts on the top and the bottom. I don't think most of these dies would cut 4 thicknesses of cardstock because they're so delicate. I did not try. You could try if you wanted. I thought doing 2 was a great option. And I got some little hairs there. But that just gives you a nice dimension to add to your card. So for this one, you know, that black hello could go right down there. You could even mat it on black if you wanted to. But I think I'm going to put this up here and keep it very simple. So there's lots of options. When you're creating stuff, you want to just play around and see what you like best. And this was an A2 card size. This was 3 3/4 by 5. So then the red base that I have it on is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then an A2 card size. So either way, and I did these as top cards instead of side folding, and normally I do it this way, but it's nice to have that change in there every now and then. I hope you guys like this project. It was so simple, and I know a lot of my cards are super simple, but it is all about the tips and tricks and the techniques that you can use to create them and make them your own. I'm going to look through here really quickly to see if I see any comments. Thank you, Chris. Layering the cardstock. Yeah, Linda, it makes a difference. The texture, yeah. Oh, let me show you some of these. I don't know if I shared all of these with you. Look at how beautiful that embossing folder is. This is foiled paper. It came this way. It's foiled cardstock. It came this way, and it took that so beautifully. And then also, when I was coming up with the idea for this project, I thought, well, I could use my stencils, and it does look really nice on the stencils too. So there's this one, and then this one I have cut down to an A2 card, and you could simply, no, I'd want a white one. That is, the watercolor paper is just a little cream. It's just a little bit, has a tinge of cream to it. But you could put the hello right down there. And, you know, so play with the things you have. You know, if you get a new embossing folder or something, play with the things you have to see what you like to create something new. And I know a few weeks ago I showed you guys how to do the shaving cream technique, this is one of those pieces. And with that beautiful quilted heart embossing folder from Sunny Studios, that is simply beautiful. So there's a lot of options for you. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. And remember, if you like, share, and comment on this video, you will be entered for next week's giveaway. And Lisa had a technical issue with her video this afternoon where it cut off before she announced last week's winner. So I would like to say, let me see if she's in here. I'm going to look through my comments real quick to see if the winner from last week is in here, but I don't see her. The winner from last week is from, it's a prize package from ThermoWeb, and it is Pam Latham. So congratulations, Pam. Get in touch with us through a private message at Bella Crafts Publishing, and we will get your information sent to ThermoWeb. And congratulations. And this week's giveaway is sponsored by Sunny Studio. So be sure and like, share, and comment. And you can do that even if you're watching the replay, because we draw the winner like the morning of our lives. So thank you everybody for joining me, and I will see you next week. Until then, have fun and be creative. Bye.